I know it's always been done like that, but does it have to stay like that? What's up, family? What's going on? As you can see, we hanging out in the car. We had to take a pit stop because I told you 6:30, it's go time. Don't matter where we at, 6:30 is go time. So hope you're good and having a good week so far and had a great 4th of July and all that good old stuff. But we're here to do it, make it happen again. So yeah, 4th of July was a little more than a week ago, though, wasn't it?
No,
that was the 4th of July. What's the day? Last week? Okay, I don't got all lost. Anyway, but anyway, hey, so we're here to make it do what it do. Y'all see who's with me, so you know that's why I'm smiling. So
I always ask him, do he still smile when I call him?
And yes, I do. So, all right, family. We're gonna go ahead and make it do what it do as we always do. It's Thursday, so let's go. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. All right. So we're gonna dive into chapter 48 a little bit here, but we got to finish up chapter 47 because there was a little piece at the bottom of chapter 47. Hey, Mama Jane, what's happening? Hope you're doing well. There was a little bit at the end of chapter 47 that we didn't touch, that I did want to touch on because it you know, there's a saying that we always say. I think it's more old school than new school now, but old school always used to say word is bond, right? So you put your word on it, you know, you ain't got to sign nothing. When we shake hands or say that I'm gonna do something, then people held you at that, right? And your name was on it, and people took pride because their name was on it, right? And so here in the end of chapter 47, Joseph actually meets with his father Jacob, and this is after they have, you know, I shouldn't say meets with him, but they had a sidebar conversation between father and son after they had, you know, came from Canaan to Egypt, met with Pharaoh. Pharaoh blessed them and told Joseph, go set your family up in Goshen. And so, you know, that's what they did. So then after all of that, there was a conversation again between Joseph and Jacob. And Joseph said, hey, you know, the reality is my days are numbered. Jacob. Jacob told Joseph that my days are numbered, right? So he's about to, you know, pass away. And so he's preparing. He's getting things ready. And he wanted to make sure Joseph knew where he wanted to be buried. And then this is the second time I read in Genesis where the oath was done by taking his hand and putting it under the thigh of his father. So it's not just because it was his father, but when a man gave his word, the way he did it was by taking his hand and putting it under the thigh of another man. That was his word. That was basically like signing the deed, signing off, saying this is what I'm going to do. This is what we agreed upon, right? And so that's what ended in 47. And so why it was important was because Jacob wanted to be buried where his father and grandfather was buried, which was in back when Atlanta came, but it was in a cave called Machpelah. Y'all know I can't pronounce these words, but anyway, but which was in Hebron. Hebron. Go read into chapter 47 so you can get the proper spelling and names of this cave and where it was at. But that was, I wanted to touch on that because, you know, that was their way of putting a name on it and signing off saying, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is how we're going to do it. And I'm trusting that you will do exactly what I'm asking you to do. And by you putting your hand under the thigh, you basically saying, hey, done deal, I got you. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it do what it do. Right? And so that's what happened here. So did you have anything about 47? Okay, so I wanted to touch on that. And you know, we don't have to put hand under the thigh anymore. But if you say you're going to do something, do it. Okay? That's the first point today. you put your name on it and say you're going to do something, word is bond. Do it, okay? Because your name on it, it speaks to your character. It speaks to who you are. And can you really be trusted, right? Everybody want to be trusted, even if you are lying. You still want to be trusted, right? And so when you have an opportunity to prove that, take advantage of that, okay? Take advantage of that opportunity. Jeff, what's up, big bro? Hope you're doing well. So, we sitting in the car, Mama Jane. We sitting in the car. You can hear all the traffic in the back, you know, but 6:30 is go time, so no matter where I'm at, I got to stop. We got to go make it happen. So that's what we're doing. So hopefully y'all can hear us loud and clear. But anyway, we're going to move on to chapter 48. So chapter 48, and I'm going to speak for myself, but I might be speaking for both of us. Because, you know, we always try to take the scripture and relate it to everyday life. We read these scriptures and we try to apply it to life, right? You know, how we get through this thing called life, navigating the good, the bad, the ugly, right? And so chapter 48, I'm not gonna say mounted a challenge, but it was a little bit more difficult than some other chapters to be able to relate somewhat. But as you keep reading and God gives you what He's gonna give you to say, I believe we got something here for you right here. And we may be able to finish it, may not, I don't know. But in chapter 48, it starts out with saying, I'm sorry, did you have anything, babe, so far? It started out with it said sometime after that little conversation that took place, that oath that took place between Joseph and Jacob. It said, well, Joseph came back to visit his father Jacob again, because the time was drawing near where he was about to pass away, right? And so word got back to him that his dad wasn't doing well, so he went to go see his dad. Dad wasn't doing well, beginning to lose his sight, and it even said that he built up his strength to sit up so that he could see and talk with his son Joseph. So now this is where we at. They have I'm sorry. So they have gotten to the point where they are they there, okay? Sorry guys. A lot of background noise. Sorry, I know we didn't get the best spot today, but anyway. But Joseph and Jacob up here are there, and now Jacob is basically telling him, you know, is about to come to an end, but I want to adopt your two sons. That's what it says in the Bible. He wanted to adopt his two sons. Now, don't think adoption like we know in the world of adopting kids and taking them and raising them or whatever, adopting someone. He was adopting them because he wanted to pass on his inheritance through them, okay? And you might wonder, well, why did he do it for Joseph? Well, I got to think this is just Ron's opinion, okay? This isn't what the Bible says. Okay, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it's just what I got from it. Joseph was doing well for himself, okay, because of the favor of God over his life, and Joseph being second in command under Pharaoh. Joseph was all right, okay, but if you read at the end, I kind of jumping ahead, but at the end, it did speak to how Jacob Jacob still blessed Joseph with some extra land, which was even more than all the other brothers received, okay? But he wanted his legacy and the inheritance to continue through Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, okay? And again, I might jacked up the name, but that's his name, Manasseh. That's what we're going with, all right? So and so this is where we at now, 48, baby. You got something?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, one of the things that we see here is Jacob wanted to bless his grandsons, who he adopted now as his sons. And so basically he wanted to pass his faith on to them, and, you know, his blessings on to them. Yeah. And, you know, that's important for us today. You know, we need to pass our faith on to our kids and grandkids. You know, a lot of younger people They stopped coming to church. It's the truth, you know.
Yeah.
They're not in church. You see, you know, the older people in church, etc. So we need to, like in our homes or just day-to-day conversations, somehow, some way, pass that faith, our faith, on to them, so that they can pass it on to their kids. That's very important.
Yeah. And it don't hurt to also pass on some stuff and things to them as well, to get them started, to help them along the way, right? Generational wealth, generational blessings, right? We talk about the generational curses, but let's talk about the generational blessings as well. And as exactly what was happening here. So it wasn't just faith, and which what she said is absolutely right and important, that we do need to pass our faith on. You know, we do need to train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they were old, they would not depart from it. And so we do need to make sure we're pouring into them, because there's nothing else on this earth like Christ and having a relationship with him, because we're going to mess up. We're going to screw up. And we need to have somebody that's going to be there to pick us up and make sure we good, even though we done messed up. They might pluck us upside the head, might bust us in the eye or whatever, but it's better than losing everything or losing your life, right? So relationship with Christ is number one, irreplaceable, okay? But then next down to that, and the Bible talks about that, is about, you know, giving an inheritance to your kids and your kids' kids, right? That's in the Bible. That talks about that. And that's exactly what's happening right here, okay? Jacob is passing on to Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, the blessings. And those blessings that came to him through God, right? So he's just passing on what God has blessed him with, okay? Spiritually and tangibly, okay? And so that's what's happening right here. We got anything else, baby?
Well, I was just going to say, you know, Ron and I are here doing this because that faith from our parents was passed on to us.
Yes.
You know, we didn't just come up with it. It was passed on to us,
right,
etc. And from our grandparents, passed to our parents, passed to us. You know,
I'm a church kid.
We pass it on to our kids. You know.
Yeah. Now at the end of the day, they gotta work on their own soul salvation. Okay. But it's our job to give them something to work with, right? They got to figure those things out. We can't make the decisions for them. We can't say, do this, do that. You know, at some point, we all got to make that choice, okay? Every last one of us got to make that choice. And our kids have to make that choice. They're no different than us. When we was their age, we had to make choices, right? And we still making choices today, okay? But you know, this right here, man, this relationship with Christ is just, there's nothing else. I'm sorry. That's the start of everything right there. That's my belief. Everybody might not believe that, but that's what I know. That's what we believe. Without him, we will be nothing. Can't do anything. Won't be about nothing. And we filthy rags now. You know, we ain't all that now. But because of his grace and his goodness, you know, and him being in our lives, this is why we even able to come on here and have excitement every Thursday at 6:30 to do this, because of his goodness, you know, and the mercy that he has given us. Because reality is, we ain't dot every I and cross every T. We done did some stuff dirty and tried to call it clean. We done did some stuff we had no business doing when we knew before we did it that we was wrong. Before we even did it, we knew we was going in wrong. All right? We knew we had no business going where we went. We know we ain't had no business getting with who we got with. We know we ain't had no business going to this spot over here or saying what we said to somebody. It's because of his grace and his mercy that we are still here today and not sucking a bullet, not hanging from a cord, not jumping off a bridge. Is everything good? Is everything perfect? No. But because of what he has already done for us, he's proven himself to us that, man, you are worth me living for. You're worth me living for, because the things that you have saved me from, the things that you have protected me from, the things that I could have I could be dead by now if it wasn't for his grace, if it wasn't for his protection, if it wasn't for him looking out for dumb Ron. Because Ron was dumb in a lot of ways and a lot of things he did because he had no business doing it. And so, by his grace and his mercy. And so, man, we got off on that, didn't we?
That's okay.
I'm sorry. I ain't sorry. Because when you start thinking about the things that he's already done, I ain't even talking about what he's going to do or what he's yet doing. When I just start thinking about the things that he's already done, I can't be nothing but thankful that I was introduced to him at an early age. But it doesn't even matter when you was introduced. When you get introduced to him and you have a relationship with him, man, I'm telling you, it makes a difference. It absolutely makes a difference. Come on, baby.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, when life gets so overwhelming or things get so confusing and you're just overwhelmed, you know, that's when you have to look for Christ.
Yeah.
You know, to help you get through that. You're just gonna have to look past all of that confusion and all of that and just, you know, look for Christ.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm gonna segue so we can move on to the next chapter.
You ain't got him.
Segue, you know.
Because I'm sorry, because hold on, we ain't segueing yet. I'm sorry because I'm on this right now. I'm sorry because maybe somebody need to hear this. But you know, again, you know, life be lifing. We talk about it. We say it all the time, and the struggle be real. And I'm just encouraging you to hold on to your faith, hold on to Christ, hold on to your belief. I'm telling you, because the enemy want to take you out. He don't want you to be happy. He don't want you to be satisfied. He don't want you to be encouraging other people. He don't want you smiling. He wants you to be down in the dumps. He want to kill your dreams. He want to kill your aspirations. He want to kill your soul. He want to take he wants to totally obliterate you. That's why he's trying to block you from connecting with Christ, because he want to take you out. Because if you don't get connected to Christ, he know he got a great chance of taking you out. And all those dreams and goals and all the things that you really want to accomplish and what keeps you going, he want to take that from you because he wants to destroy you. That's why Christ is important, because he keeps us in the fight. He keeps us sane. He keeps us going. And those things can be achieved simply because we have connection with him and he's able to keep us going. I'm sorry, I gotta get excited about it because he makes so much of a difference. He is the difference. He is literally the difference. Come on, babe, I'm sorry.
So, getting back to chapter 48, you know, Jacob was very old. So Jacob lived a lot of stuff. He went through a lot of stuff in his life, you know, and I would think that he was able to get through all the things that he got through because of his faith. And what was I going to say? Because of his faith and something else some point I was going to make. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
But yeah, so to her point is that, you know, you look at the life of Jacob, okay? And we was kind of talking about it on this ride that we're on right now. If you remember at the beginning, Jacob wasn't good, okay? Jacob coming out of his mama's womb, he was not good, okay? He grabbed at his brother's heel, right? And that was a way of trying to say, I'm trying to take over. I'm trying to be the man. I'm trying to take what you're supposed to be getting, okay? Because his brother Esau was the firstborn, okay? And Jacob, all growing up, you know, that he took his brother's birthright. Now, I will say that Esau kind of gave that up and not understanding what he was supposed to be doing with the position that he was in as the firstborn. So he kind of gave that up. But then Jacob took it another step with his mama to duke his father Isaac to get the blessing that was supposed to be for Esau, because Esau was the firstborn. And so history repeating itself in a sense right here in chapter 48. You know, but if you look at the life, but even after that took place with Jacob, he still was blessed, and there was a conversion that took place And in the end, now we're looking at Jacob as one of the greatest people in the Bible that lived a great life full of blessings, and he's passing those blessings on to his generations, to his family, to his sons and grandsons. So even though he did some mess in the beginning, because of the favor of God, he was able to live a life that was a tremendous blessing for generations after him.
Yeah, he held on to the promise. He remembered the promise that God had promised, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Hold on to your promise.
He held on to that.
Hold on to your promise.
The very end.
Yes. Don't matter. Yeah, you messed up. Yeah, you jacked some stuff up. You said some stuff. You know what you did. But hold on to your promise, because it can turn around. It can flip. We serve a God that's able to do any and everything above that we can ever ask or think. And so, yes, you messed up. Now, go get it right. Fix it if you can. Ask for forgiveness. Don't do it again. Do what you got to do to get it right. But your relationship with Christ, that's what we're going to end on right there. We're going to deal with 48 next week. Your relationship with Christ is the most important thing. Even though you done did some stuff you ain't no business doing, don't forget Christ. Don't let him go. Hold on to him. When you mess up, go back to him. Talk to him. He's your father. Your relationship with him ain't the same as my relationship with him, but we still got a relationship. And because we got a relationship, and because he loves every last one of us, regardless of what we have done, we still have opportunity to get it right and be a blessing to many folk, not just in our household. So stay connected with him.
Nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters.
That's it.
All right.
All right.
She telling me it's time to shut it down. Family, thank y'all. We love you. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. This is what we do on Thursdays at 6:30. So, as we always say, pray, plan, prepare, proceed. Go make it do what it do. We're going to see you next week, Lord willing, 6:30 to make it happen again. And we'll pick back up where we left off on chapter 48. All right? But maybe go read it anyway, just so you can chime in with us next week. Love you. See you later.